I know there are a lot of athletes out there that have the question of what is the difference between tempo run versus threshold run. And a threshold run is running much faster than your regular easy aerobic effort. So if you're looking to, run at a faster pace for a longer period of time, threshold training as well as tempo training is absolutely critical, because the end goal here is to improve our body's lactate tolerance and to be able to continue to sustain higher amounts of lactic acid buildup and being able to teach the body to clear it faster than it's building up. But when you're running at threshold effort, or lactate threshold, also known as anaerobic threshold, that's the point where we're building up lactic acid to an extent that's much higher and obviously produces a greater stress on the body. Threshold effort is running at closer down toward your 10K to half marathon race pace if you're training for, say, a marathon, or a longer event like the 10 miler, the 10K, half marathon, and marathon distances. So if you're training for tempo effort, tempo runs are sustained more at a comfortable steady state type effort for about 5 to 10 kilometers. So tempo runs are really important parts of your long distance running training. And a lot of times tempo runs and threshold runs are used interchangeably, but tempo runs are like, we do tempo runs pretty much year round. They're great for building endurance and taxing the anaerobic system of the body. So in terms of tempo runs, you want to start off around 3 to 4 miles, especially if you're training for like the 10-mile event, 16 kilometers, a half marathon or marathon. I would always advise starting off first teaching the body to adapt to running 3 to 4 miles at your tempo run effort, and then extending that distance out to around 10 miles or out to around 16 kilometers in effort. And again, tempo runs are still faster than your regular easy effort, but you should be able to extend the duration of a tempo run much easier over a longer period of time as your body adapts, versus running at threshold effort. Running at threshold effort is even more extensive. It's running down toward your 10K effort, half marathon pace effort. So you are going to be stressed either way with running a tempo run versus running at threshold effort, but both are relatively close in terms of efforts. Again, threshold training is running slightly fast or slightly slower, about 15 seconds slower than race pace, and tempo runs is running around 20 to 25 seconds slower than your goal race pace. And again, always focus on the fundamentals. Running faster at any distance, whether you're training for the 1500 meter or you're training for the marathon, it's critical to focus on quality over quantity. Don't get so hyped up over what pace you're running on your easy days per kilometer or per mile. Focus on really recovering and really taking those days easy. That's what I stress the athletes that I coach. I always tell them, jog on those easy days, because when we get to the track workouts, when we're doing the road sessions, when you're preparing to race all out, you want to make sure that your body's adapting to the hard training you're doing. And so the difference between a tempo run versus threshold run is the tempo run is going to be at a higher, you're going to be running at a higher effort, so your heart rate's going to be climbing, versus if you're running very aerobically. But you should be able to extend the duration of a tempo run out to maybe around 50 minutes to an hour as you get in great anaerobic shape and as you get in great aerobic shape. Threshold training is, like I said, it's even more intense. So it's definitely going to be running around 15 seconds slower than race pace, versus the tempo run, which is about 25 to 30 seconds slower than race pace. And this is going to vary from athlete to athlete. Again, if you're running at tempo effort, and if you're running at your anaerobic threshold effort, you're running closer to around 90% of your max heart rate. If you're running at VO2 max effort, which is you're running at speeds that are so significant, so intense that your body can't clear those lactic acid faster than it's building up, where you have to take those breaks, that's running around 95 to 100% of your maximum heart rate. So the difference between a tempo run versus threshold run is the threshold run is running at paces that are faster, normally faster than your easy runs. So this anaerobic threshold sits somewhere, like I mentioned, around your 10K to half marathon race pace. Whereas the tempo runs are generally at a steady state effort where it's still going to challenge you, but you can get that extended, that tempo run extended out past 5-10 kilometers or slightly further, depending on your overall fitness. And the key aspect of the tempo run is really to tax the anaerobic systems of the body, training the body to release the lactate more quickly. And it's also defined as a medium hard effort over around 20 minutes, so anywhere from around 3 to 4 miles. A tempo run should more so feel like a comfortably hard effort, versus the threshold run where you're running at your anaerobic threshold. It's much more intense. You're running, like I mentioned, around 90% of your maximum heart rate, or around 75 to 85% of the heart rate reserve. And as I mentioned too, when you're training for the threshold runs and you're doing your tempo runs, again, it's generally around the same effort, but slightly higher for the threshold effort versus a tempo run. You definitely want to make sure that you're really not getting in the habit of running slow and easy every single week. And I know a lot of you who watch these videos each week hear me say that routinely, but I want to just make sure that, especially for the new viewers out there who may be doing long, slow, easy, long runs every single weekend, get out of that habit. Because if you're trying to run faster over any distance, you want to make sure you're doing a varied pace long run every other week. You're spending a little bit of time at threshold effort, you're running a little bit of time during that long run at tempo effort, you're running a few seconds to a few miles or kilometers at VO2 max effort during the long run. And again, you're not just in this long, slow, and easy fat burning stage for every single long run that you do. I do definitely want you to continue to do long, slow distance runs, but do it every other weekend. So one weekend should be a little bit more challenging. You're spending several miles, several kilometers at faster, varied paced efforts, and then you alternate the following week with a nice, easy, relaxed long run, burning fat, building your endurance. These longer, fast runs, doing threshold runs and tempo runs throughout your buildup is definitely going to help improve the body's lactate tolerance, your ability to sustain your goal race pace for longer periods of time and to outlast your competition. Also, focus on staying relaxed. Be as relaxed as you possibly can under pressure, because the less muscular tension and mental pressure that you're feeling, the better the performance. Again, you always study what the best middle to long distance runners are doing. If you watch the videos on YouTube, great runners like Jakob Ingebrigtsen from Norway, Haile Gebrselassie of Ethiopia, the current world record holder for the marathon, Kelvin Kiptum from Kenya, who recently ran 2 hours and 35 seconds for the marathon at Chicago. He ran exactly 19 minutes faster than my personal best for the marathon. It's absolutely incredible what these athletes are doing. But if you look at these athletes, they make it look easy for a reason. They've done plenty of threshold runs, plenty of tempo runs, spending a higher percentage, around 40% of their weekly volume at or below their lactate threshold intensity. So they make it look easy for a reason. They're not just doing high volume. They're doing a much higher percentage of their weekly mileage at a much higher intensity. So that's why threshold running and tempo running is absolutely vital if you want to be a better middle to long distance runner. You have to get outside of your comfort zone. You can't just run easy and relaxed for high amounts of volume. Certainly that's still important, but you do want to get outside of your comfort zone, teach the body to handle much higher lactic acid buildup, and then over a long period of time, your body will adapt to that higher intensity, and you'll be able to sustain your goal race pace for a longer period of time. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Leave me a comment below if you have any other questions or concerns. Definitely check out the resources below all my videos, as well as on RunDreamAchieve.com. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. And I will talk to you all in the next video.